And it just kind of goes to show you the power of classic Star Wars here. I'll show everybody again just how well this did. It was the #2 movie this weekend.
Star Wars is popular. Who knew?
Renegade Online. 20-year-old movie that was re-released this weekend that, according to the data, which is going to be a little hard to read on here because of the way they do this, we have to go way down here for this. Basically, what we got was about, as of right now, 26 million. I think it might even be a little bit higher when all's said and done. I was a little surprised. I said, wow, it did 11.3 million. Revenge of the Sith, a 20-year-old Star Wars movie, 11.3 million on Friday night. I said, well, I mean, it could do 15 million on a Saturday and 10 million on a Sunday. Let's see what happens. Now, they're saying right now, apparently this was very front-loaded. It came in hot on Thursday and Friday with people kind of running in to see it. I think this is going to be in the screens for, about a week, right? So there's still time to go do this. But the point is this. Somewhere around 2 million people, 2 million people this weekend went to go see Revenge of the Sith. There's another Star Wars thing that came out this week. We have to compare that to, because I talked about this the other day. It's going to be a lot of fun. But about 2 million people stormed back into theaters amidst several new releases, several big blockbusters out there, the Minecraft and Accountant and Sinners and everything else. This movie hung in there with the rest of them. And it just kind of goes to show you the power of classic Star Wars here. I'll show everybody again just how well this did. It was the #2 movie this weekend.
Star Wars is popular. Who knew?
Yeah, the #2 movie this weekend. And, I mean, you look at this, if you actually were to throw in, because I believe that 25 million, the way they did this, let me go back and double check. 11, 8, and 5. Yeah, that 25 million didn't actually, or did it? No, it did. It included the quote-unquote Thursday previews or thereabouts. I think this thing is really impressive at how well this did. People kind of stormed back in. They were hungry to go see stuff like this. And the write-ups for this from the places like Deadline and whatnot, I mean, have really kind of been impressive to me. I don't know. Did you guys, well, I know, Tom, you didn't, but did you get to go check this out, Pro?
You mean, did I go see it?
Uh-huh.
No. I'm not this weekend, many weekends ago. But I'll tell you this. It's funny to me because it turns out that George Lucas, his version of Star Wars, even the movies that are not the best, because I don't think anybody's going to say that this is on par with Empire Strikes Back, but even the films that are not at the very best of the best from George Lucas, they outperform. I mean, can you imagine, Tom, what would happen if they re-released Last Jedi? How would that do, Tom? How would that perform if they re-released it? Where's the 10th anniversary in about 2 years?
If I were Disney, I would not re-release that.
Where's the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens? Why is there no re-release and celebration?
Again, who's going to go watch it? Do you think it would do 25 million? I think it'd be lucky if it did 2.
Okay, so then what that means, Valiant, is
they'll just use the excuse that George only does 20th anniversary, so that's all they're going to do.
What that means, though, is they know.
The last thing they want to do is remind people of the trash Star Wars they made a year before they put out the next Star Wars movie, the first one they've done in 7 years.
They know
that's one of the reasons. But I mean, you look at the write-up here. This is from Anthony DeAlessandro, and then I want to talk about the international write-up from Nancy, because it's got some additional information it was very difficult to glean. You can't really tell from the numbers how much it did internationally, but those numbers are actually out there. Sinners, Heaven Sent, 45 million. Second weekend, Revenge of the Sith, powerful 25 million. Accountant 2, 24 plus. Minecraft 22 as the movie going bounces back. Mostly everything is up Sunday morning, with the overall marketplace now coming in around 146 million for the weekend, says Anthony DeAlessandro. Not only is that the best result for the final weekend of April since the end of COVID, but it's also the fourth best overall after Avengers weekends of 402 million in 2019, 2018's 313 million, and 2011, and when Universal's Fast 5 drove the Friday to Sunday period for 158 million. Of course, not inflation adjusting here. The industry's jumping up and down. They caught up with Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC Theaters. Well, you can imagine how ecstatic they are. The trick is, he says, major studios, this is from DeAlessandro again, not having us lapse back into famine. When Marvel Studios Disney's Thunderbolts hit NRG tracking 3 weeks ago, it was forecasted at 70 million. I'm not aware that that has significantly changed since then, but we should have better tracking information probably Monday or Tuesday of this coming week. Word is that the movie is much better than Captain America Brave New World. Now, stop right there because here's the deal. It's kind of a low bar, number one. Number two, is it a lot of the same people that were telling us that Captain America Brave New World is quote unquote fine? I really don't know how to interpret some of these people's opinions on the quality of cinema because they usually have really, really crappy opinions more times than not, especially in the Hollywood trades. So
Well,
congratulations on being better than one of the worst movies that Marvel has made.
The problem with the reviewers and the problem with the trades and the access media as well, whatever you want to say about their viewpoints don't seem to align with the marketplace. So if they don't align with the marketplace, then they can't give you an accurate understanding of what's going to happen when movies come out or this is the problem is they're completely disassociated with the average man and woman of America.
Yeah, and I don't know what kind of impact. This is going to have some impact on the continued success of other major players in cinemas, like Sinners, like Minecraft, because, again, what they have left currently of the major PLF screens, they're going to lose them. Sinners is probably not going to have. It might have a few PLF showings each weekend, but it's not going to have 2 or 1 PLF screen exclusively dedicated to it, unless Thunderbolts absolutely tanks right out of the gate. But usually when they book stuff like Thunderbolts, I mean, Disney's looking at, hey, we want your PLF screens and we want them for 2 weekends. I mean, this is pretty common. This is how this works. This is why they window the movies when they do, right? They want to have this movie release in early May so that they have 2 or 3 weekends before they get to the next Disney release. That's Lilo and Stitch that comes out Memorial Day weekend. This is how they do it. So I don't know what kind of impact this is going to have on some of these other films. It's going to have some, but to how much of it it's going to have is yet to be seen. But yes, Thunderbolts could, like most Marvel movies, show up, do a good bit of box office the first weekend, and then relatively tank. I mean, does anybody think Thunderbolts is going to open up with 70 million and then have a 6% drop like Sinners does into weekend 2? No. The likelihood of that happening is probably somewhere about 0.001%. It's just mathematically it hadn't happened yet. There's no data, just like with Sinners up until this weekend, there's no data or evidence to show anything out there historically of how that would happen. So we're going to have to see something really hang on. Now, if the movie's as good as they say, quote unquote, and word of mouth for it is really strong, but we've heard this story so many times with Marvel movies before, and then it just frankly never really seems to materialize except in very rare instances. But with this, it's going to have to leg out very strongly because I promise you the budget for this thing is probably going to come in somewhere at least around $200 million. We haven't seen a Marvel film anywhere close to being under $200 million in I don't even know how many years, a decade or something like that. So it's been a hell of a long time. So the movie's going to have to really perform. But this is the thing. Given this is back to D'Alessandro. He says, given the momentum for movie going right now, it only makes sense that projections on the MCU Bad Boys and Girls, the Thunderbolts, superhero movie is significantly higher. That pick opens Friday. So
hold on just a second. Are you telling me that D'Alessandro is telling us that there's some sort of subconscious psychological wave that is happening across America where suddenly people in their homes looked at each other and said, sweetie, I don't know what it is. I've just got a new urge to go back to movie theaters all of a sudden. Or, D'Alessandro, could it be that kids said, hey, I like Minecraft. Let's go see a Minecraft movie. And then they said, hey, they're throwing frickin' chickens at the movie theater. Let's go again. We're going to throw a frickin' chicken. And then people said, hey, that whole George Lucas Star Wars thing, remember that? It was really cool. Let's go see it. That's what's happening, D'Alessandro. There's not some sort of psychosis sweeping across America where people suddenly are like, woo, I got some movie momentum in me now, baby. Get that $30 popcorn in my system.
I think what he's trying to get across here is that, yeah, is there an attitude that people are now going to suddenly show up to the theaters or at least they're being trained to go back to movies, right? People are excited to go back to the theaters. And if they are we going to have a spillover effect for other movies they weren't so excited about? But it's like, hey, we're kind of in a habit of going back to the theater. All of that is possible, but I don't know how likely that is right now, right?
Let me do my high-level pro analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? PhD in theaters right now. If you make good movies, people go. If you make bad movies, they say no.
I say, I've never seen a frickin' chicken, but I have seen a chicken fricassee.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.